Here we are for part 2 of this week's edition of Backpage Blues, and before I even introduce the Hurricane, I am going to apologise for my behaviour outside. It was completely unprofessional. I lost it, I corpsed, and I couldn't stop laughing. Forgive me, I'm really sorry. I'm still joined by Charlie Skillen from the Mail Online, and this is the part of Backpage Blues where we answer your questions. So we'll make a quick start and try and get through as many as possible. Chelsea Ron, Charlie, I'll ask you the first one. Yep. Chelsea Ron makes a very interesting point. He suggests that Chelsea don't need to make any signings this summer. I disagree, but his basis, his logic for the thought is that he thinks that we need to recall the likes of Van Ginkel, Victor Moses, Lucas Piazzon, Perica, get Loftus-Cheek promoted, and essentially build from the bottom up. I disagree. Charlie?
So do I. Disagree massively. You know, we've had a great season this season. Everyone knows that. We've got great players at the club. We've got a great team. However, everyone's going to be out to beat us next year. Yeah. We're the team to beat. You know, you've got to strengthen at the very top. You've got to get players that can improve the team.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying you've got to buy 10. I'm not saying I wouldn't want to see.
And you want to see these, like, it's a good point, Chelsea Ron. I like what you're suggesting, promote and build, but also introduce.
I'd love to see the likes of Loftus-Cheek and in and around the first team. With the possibility of Van Ginkel, I mean, he's a decent player who's had trouble with injuries. The likes of Victor Moses and Lucas Piazzon.
Never getting a look in at Chelsea, are they?
They're never wearing the Chelsea shirt again.
agree.
They're decent players, but they're
Stoke is Victor Moses' level. He's doing very well there.
Their
fans love him. He's right. Yeah.
Those aren't 17-year-old kids. Moses is 23 or 24. He's a decent player, but he's not a Chelsea player anymore.
Cool. Casual Mayhems, he asked, do you think Drogba will leave the club next season or the season after?
In fact, he's already said that this won't be his last season playing.
Right.
I still think he'll be at Chelsea next season. I don't think he'll be playing even as much as he has this season. But I think we've all got our kind of various opinions on Drogba. We all absolutely love Drogba.
Everybody loves Drogba. That's not in debate. But that isn't the issue here, is it?
No, but it's he's not just bringing the playing side, and he still can be valuable from the playing side, but he is bringing that aura to the club. He's bringing that experience.
But that isn't the issue.
You're one to always talk about people who get what Chelsea is about. No one gets what Chelsea is more about than Didier Drogba.
Agreed, but he isn't good enough to be in the first team of a team that want to win the Champions League anymore.
No, he's not. But I mean,
I want him around the club. I think that he should sign a long contract and have him around the club. But my issue is that every time he plays for the first team, we are lacking a proper centre forward.
Yeah, and I think Chelsea will look to bring a striker in this year, this summer. Whether that's buying someone in, whether it's Patrick Bamford.
So somebody else will be third choice. So Drogba would be fourth choice.
Fourth choice, yeah.
Okay, I can live with that.
And that will be probably a secondary role. I think he's a Mourinho confidant. I think he's, having someone like Didier Drogba give the team talk to a group of young players is invaluable.
It's completely inspirational, but the issue is he isn't there for that.
But he will be. That's the thing. Okay. It's not like. We're not playing a game of Football Manager or something where those are players and those are coaches. He can be a presence around the whole club.
Okay.
Next question is Kareem Sada. He says, "What do you guys think about the feud between Mourinho and Wenger?"
I think it's fascinating. I think it's always you always enjoy a fight that you win, don't you? So it's great. I love it. I just think it's so one-sided. I think that Wenger has huge issues with Mourinho. I think he's probably jealous of what Mourinho's achieved. Wenger's won one FA Cup in the past decade. Compare that to Mourinho, it's no contest.
I think fans of Wenger would say that Mourinho hasn't built a club up like Wenger has.
I would contest that Wenger has built a club up to and also if he hasn't built it up to the required level. Arsenal were a huge club. Arsenal, when I was a kid, won everything. They were winning doubles left, right, and centre when I was growing up in North London, and the club have stagnated at best, if not regressed. And I think that Wenger really needs to hold his hands up there. I know that there's a big I think that there's an Arsenal banner that promotes like thanking Wenger for the memories. I think it reads, "Thanks for the memories, but it's time to say goodbye, Arsene." And I really don't understand how Arsenal fans can't subscribe to that. He loses his marbles when he plays Mourinho. Didn't he like attack him on the touchline or something ridiculous?
That was one of the pictures of the season. Definitely. I think that there's got to be some level of respect there, but there is always this sniping back and forth, particularly for Mourinho. It must be said.
Yeah.
I mean that
thousandth game though.
Yeah,
Wenger's 1,000th game, he smashed him 6-0. He's so good. What was the quote? Sorry.
The quote after the game on Sunday, he said, you know, I'm not boring. I think winning no titles in 10 years is boring.
Here, Jose.
Yeah. The next one is from Blue Heart Deluxe. He's asking who we think Chelsea's biggest threat will be next season.
Very good question, Blue Heart Deluxe. I think it would probably, I'm going to have to say, if I'm forced to say one club, I think there'll be a few. But if you push me to say one, I'm going to say Manchester City, assuming, with a caveat, Manchester City, assuming they get the right man in charge. Manchester City with Klopp, if they give Klopp a load of money to spend, that would terrify me. What the hell? A bird has just landed on the roof. It's like a pterodactyl.
It's really quite
enormous.
That's really scary.
Wow. Okay, focus. Yeah, I'm going to say Manchester City, assuming that they get a great manager in, will be a real force next season. You?
I'm going to go across that city. I'm going to say Manchester United. I think now Louis van Gaal, are you okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to say once Louis van Gaal's had this season to kind of work out what he wants from the job, he seems to. I mean, I know they had a poor result against Everton, but up till then they were doing
momentum. They looked good at the bridge, actually.
Yeah, they did look good at the bridge. You know, he's got kind of the attacking movement that he wants. He is going to be back to the absolute hilt in the transfer market. You know, and Man United is still always the club that worries me the most playing against Chelsea. Yeah. I think we've got Arsenal's number massively. Yeah. Chelsea Man City is always a great battle, and not that we haven't done well against Man United, but I mean, again, growing up in the 1990s, you can't help but think, you know, Man United are always going to be a threat. Yeah,
I agree with that, actually. I think that's a really good point. I suppose the last question quickly. We've been talking about birds and stuff for too long. SEK Dubstep UK's
great name.
He tells us, he says he doesn't know if we're aware, but a recent study showed that we receive the most hate on social media. Why do you think that is?
I'm pretty sure it's because you're the face of the Chelsea Fans channel.
I'm inclined to agree. And you, in fact. You're as guilty as that as me, actually. Really? The Hurricane.
I'm quite lovable.
I do also agree. I suppose, trying to answer that question seriously for a moment, I don't know. I suppose a lot of hatred is born out of jealousy, and therefore we're a great team. We've played some wonderful football this season, and we're going to win the league, and we've already won the League Cup. We've won 2 trophies out of the 4 that we entered, so it's been a good season, 50%. So people will dislike that. Yeah. We've obviously been in the headlines for the wrong reasons, so that
true.
wouldn't help.
You know, it's the team at the top of the league is always going to attract attention. You know, people saying boring this, boring that, like rightfully say, we've
boring, about 100 goals.
Yeah, well,
ridiculous.
Precisely. You know, we seem Chelsea always seems to stir up some comments from other fans. You know, it's not something that worries a lot of Chelsea fans, I don't think.
Can't hear you from the top of the league. I suppose that's all we've got time for. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Make sure that you get your questions in below, and we could be answering your questions next week. Comment, tell us, and make sure you subscribe if you haven't done it already. Cheers for watching. Come on, you Blues.